job.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Jurassic World Evolution 2. Finally, we are building another park, and I'm doing an island park, which is something I have yet to do, unfortunately, and that's something I've wanted to do for a while. The theme of this park is a sort of tropical paradise park, and there's a story behind it that I'm going to get into for a little bit. But we're going to build down here today, and I'm kind of happy with this build, but I apparently have forgotten how to use the tools since I've been in the game, so it's a little sloppy. But you can see the outline of this island. We got beaches all along the shore. We're going to use lots of volcanic rock and tons of palm trees, which we have no shortage of in this game. And so yeah, let's go ahead and get into the build. This is at from 500% to 800% speed, depending on where you are. The Xbox video transfer was horrendous, so I've been working on this all day to transfer from my Xbox, and I finally got most of it sent over. Some of it still didn't record, and that was unfortunately 10 minutes of the habitat build, which is probably the reason half of you are here, so I'm very sorry about that. Probably more than half, to be honest, because who cares about building guest sections? I do. So yeah, this is probably the first, 10 episodes. We're going to build a full park. I have some really good ideas for what we're going to do here. So yeah, I'm just starting with this little elevated platform where we're going to have our arrival center. I was going to do a whole parking lot, but then I realized that doesn't make sense for an island, so we'll do that for a different build one day, eventually. But ahead of us here, onto this little peninsula, we're going to have a big open habitat that you see right when you arrive at the park. To the right, we're going to have the entrance to our hotel section, which needs to be by the entrance. And to the left, we're going to have additional viewing with some viewing galleries into the habitats, which is, I think, it looks pretty good in the end. That's also going to lead out into the main path, which is going to cut through the rest of the park. But real quick, there's not going to be a fence right here, so I'm just lining this with planters, and you'll see I have some rocks there. I'm using our new flags, even though this isn't a viewing dome. They look good, so I'm using them. And then I'm mostly sticking with these two path colors for this build, mostly because I think they're the best, but also they fit the look pretty well. I rarely use the other ones anymore. I mostly use these two and also the Jurassic Park facility path one. Here you can see me struggling with the clipping for quite a while because clipping, especially on Xbox, is really horrendous because the path tool is supposed to be used to make path, not art in full designs. Speaking of which, I'm really bad at path art, but I have a really cool idea for what I'm going to do in the very center of this park. We're going to have a sort of dragon curve design where we're going to put at least Chonjusaurus, but I'm tempted to put all 5 Tyrannosaurids. Not sure if we're going to do that though. Yeah, down here behind us though, that's where the hotel section is going to be. I just put that path there to get it in the center. Yeah, this is where our hotels are going to be eventually. I'm putting the volcanic rock, which we're going to use a lot, as well as the sands. I'm going to try to not use the jungle trees as much. I'm also going to try to avoid using too many individually placeables in general, because that's what's made my last couple parks crash, is the thousands upon thousands. I built an entire jungle section in a mountain that you have to go through, a monorail track, through a lagoon, and then I had over 3,000 individually placeable trees in just that one section of the park. Which was not good. So anyway, these planters are some of my favorites because you can use them as walls. They're kind of hard to make them super even. We're definitely going to be making use of glitches in this park a lot, because that's something I want to do. Every build, probably, I want to use a glitch somewhere, because we have a nice accumulation of glitches at this point. Anyway, I'm just finishing up this section, trying out some different decorations here. I like using the rocks to line, but here I decided to use just one big rock. Probably the best rock. Even though we're trying to use just the volcanic-looking tropical rocks, needed that rock there, so we're going to focus with just these 2 rocks. I think it looks weird when you use a ton of different rocks just all over the place, so I'm just going to be using mostly these 2. I had a hard time getting the terrain even, and in the end, there is something a little lopsided about it, as you'll see at the very end of the build, but I think it's okay. It's fine when we're on the ground view, which is the important part. So yeah, I'm just placing some rocks around. I'm going to really try to focus on getting a consistent look on this park of this sort of tropical paradise with like beaches and lakes. Not that ocean, not lakes. As you can clearly see at the edge of the map, we have just this vast ocean in front of us. Nothing else in sight. Yeah, making use of our benches and trash cans, and instead of using the new tables, since I still really like the old ones because the parasols look so good. So yeah, just placing a couple benches around and some trash cans. Those are the best of the trash can spot. This is the game we live in. We have trash cans. That's the most important thing. Which type of trash can do you prefer? Comment that so that some people will watch this video. Anyway, putting the invisible fence right here. I had a hard time getting, now the actual fence, I had a hard time getting this kind of even. Of course, I'm using the concrete fence because there aren't other fences in this game. I don't know what you're talking about. That's the only fence that's actually important. Just these two. But actually, these are probably going to be the majority of the fences that I use in this park. So I'm just outlining this invisible fence, keeping it in the water so it's less visible and so the dinosaurs can wade into the water a little bit. If you're wondering, oh, here in just a second, this is where we lose footage of me building the park. So I'm just going to talk about a little bit what I did. But basically, I used this sort of ground, the darker grass. And so that way, I can do something kind of cool with the volcanic rock, where I have volcanic spills near the coasts and stuff. And I can use the bright green grass in between there because I know the volcanic soil and it breaks down really good for plant growth. And that's where I'm putting all our paleo foliage because it looks so vibrant. You can see there I did some. Here I'm transporting in our dinosaurs. We have some very nice species today. We're starting with the best sauropod in the game, I think, Allosaurus. I'm sure some of you will agree. And we also have the smaller Dryosaurus because I wanted a secondary small species. Dryosaurus looks really cool. It fits the look of this exhibit. And I wanted to put the insect feeders in there and have a little herbivore able to eat them. And also I just use Dryosaurus all the time. So yeah, obviously the Dryosaurs can't actually eat from the insect feeders, but it makes sense that they could, realistically. And they look kind of neat on the ground since we don't have ground paleo feeders. This is what we're using. So yeah, there you can see where I put the 3 viewing galleries off to the side. That's going to be its own little dedicated section. This fence was still not even, so I had to go back and do it again. And I like having more sauropods rather than just a couple. So we got 6 Allosaurus and they're all the same skin pattern. Though looking back on it, I should have used 2 different ones. Before you say it, I'm going to flip these around because it looks really weird when you have a bunch in a row and they're all the same pattern facing the same way with that skull in the center. It just kind of looks weird, so I try to alternate them or something. Right here, this is going to be the entrance to our guest area and our glitch for today. We're going to be placing the gate on the path so we can open and close the hotel section. And I guess it's not a security measure because you can just get in the other way. But yeah, we're doing that here. At first I do it wrong. You're in probably just a second now. I'm using the luxury path down here because hotel and I want it to look different from the other sections. That's basically just it there. So yeah, this is actually kind of a small build for today. It did take me like 2 hours though because I didn't know how to do anything anymore. Apparently I've forgotten how to build. In the end, I'm kind of happy with it. It's a decent intersection, nothing spectacular. But this is the look of the whole park. I don't want it to be too much... Well, my parks suffer from either being too much open space and space in between sections that it doesn't look good when I try to connect them at the ends, or it's just too industrial, too much buildings everywhere, and that also destroys the frame rates, and it makes the park look not very good, and it makes it look like I'm not trying to waste space, which, of course, is important. And then, yeah, so there we got our amenity. Now I'm trying again with the gate glitch. I think I got it right this time. Yep. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to replace that path. I should just use the luxury path, but it's fine. So, while I'm here and while it's on my mind, I should tell you about the story of this park, because for me to build a good park, it needs to have a story behind it. Why is this park here? So, since we're using all building sets, what I decided to do is, here's the story. And Louis Dawson was not, did not become CEO of Biosyn. It was somebody a little more reasonable. And when Masrani bought out Engine in 1999, he also bought out Biosyn. Well, he didn't buy them out. He came to terms with them, but also bought a large portion of the company and became co-owner. And then for security for the park that he decided to build, instead of building it on Nublar, he's building a new park here. He's building lots of parks around the world instead of one big park, which, you know, that makes more sense. with their combined technologies, I'm sure they could do it. And so here we have Biosyn/Engine/Maserati working with the DFW for security and stuff. That's why we have DFW fences in here. Working to build these little parks all around the world, including this one on an island that's near the 5 Deaths. I'm going to use one of the ones from the Jurassic Park books, Isla Talamanca, which was also said to be privately owned. So maybe, I don't know, this Biosyn CEO owned it, or whatever. But basically, this is in a alternate universe where we have all the companies working together to build this ultimate dinosaur park, and a bunch of them around the world. Maybe we'll build more similar parks in different biomes, and it can be part of a series. I just came up with that now. I hadn't thought of that. So yeah, super excited for this build. I was walling in this section here. I started using this path, and I realized it wasn't going to be good at all. So I deleted that, and I was trying something new, but unfortunately I couldn't delete the whole thing because it was tied to the decorations that I didn't want to place, even though they weren't actually on the path. I meant to do this on the other side, but I'm placing palm trees here, of course, because it also looked really empty. Using one of our new fountains, and some tables and chairs, some benches, of course. I'm using largely just the tropical decorations, but the Mediterranean trees also work super well. And I'm using a lot of the desert trees for the palms. But those are also in the Mediterranean and tropical building sets, which is really helpful. Trying not to overuse the fluffy bush because it doesn't really fit the aesthetic. So right outside our hotel section, we're going to have When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth, because that leads into the park from there. Just customizing this amenity. I'm going to save these colors and have it be the colors for most of our amenities, unless we want to do something specific for each one, which is normally what I do. I choose one set of colors, one style, but then I have maybe some specific amenities that are different. Okay, there we go. Place that section. And I was just putting this fence here. This is the DFW fence because it's a really nice fence since it doesn't have the little wire mesh at the bottom. Guests can look into it. There might be a habitat there. Maybe they're just watching the people. I don't know. The hotel section is probably what we're going to do next episode. And then the episode after that. I'm planning this just now as I record. But the episode after that, we'll work on the center path. Maybe that exhibit there. Then maybe we can do the Dragon Curve for the 4th episode. Maybe the 5th. I don't know how many episodes this will be, because it takes a really long time to do these, the video transfer, and I have a bajillion videos that I want to make, and a bajillion other hobbies that take a lot of time. So, yeah. I did say that this episode would be out today, and it's going to. So, just using the Malta bunker there, because it's a really cool building with the cannons and everything. I know at the beginning I said I'm going to mostly use these 2 paths, and then I proceed to use almost every single path in the game in this build. Yeah, this little area here actually ended up looking a little sparse. I don't like it. I just didn't have much to put there because I don't like using big decorations too many times and it looking repetitive. Because, you know, it doesn't make sense to have 5 Jurassic Park gates in your park. That should be something really special to use just once, because if you think about it realistically, they wouldn't have that same sort of photo moment multiple times. But it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, just filling this in with trees, and I wanted some, not just a solid plaza of path, so I went in with the brown path, which is really, really awesome path. Just making sure the terrain's kind of even. Filling in with some rocks and trees. We're pretty much done with the build at this point. Alright, so here we are on the ground, touring this. You walk out of the underground subway tunnel entrance. You can head off this way to drop off your luggage, but you want to get a view of this really cool dinosaur valley down here. These plains with the lake. Where are they? How can I not find 6 Allosaurus? That's a good question. Okay, there they are. And yeah, I put those pylons there. I probably already narrated that just because I think they look good. You can walk back here and get a view. This is going to be a really nice view once the whole park is done, this whole overlook. I'm not sure if we're going to fill up the whole map. We might end up shrinking it. Who knows? You can just walk down this way. I'll take us to the viewing gallery so you can get a nice view of it. Oh, that's a nice screenshot. Did I make a thumbnail for this video? I did. Okay, yeah, I think this looks really good aesthetic-wise, but I feel like it's still missing something. If you have any ideas for potential future episodes to fill up this park, I know what I'm doing next episode, but I'm not sure after that for all of them, so any ideas you have would be much appreciated. It'd also be very appreciated if you liked the video, that you told me by liking the video with the button that likes the video. And yeah, now you can just see over here, you've basically seen the whole build. Yeah, we just have this nice little section. I like this view of the lake over here. Sorry, not the lake, the vast open ocean that just goes on into the distance. No other land in sight. Yeah, a nice little restaurant here. And we got our entrance to our hotel section. This is where you're going to walk through into the rest of the park. Thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you think of the new outro with the music. Hope you enjoyed.